Halloween. There's a full moon and I'm walking through a wood. But it's okay. Because I've got this. Not pleased. So I've come back to put some hazelnuts in the pumpkin. Somebody's nicked it. Or maybe it left on its own. Well, if you want to take photos of squirrels sitting on top of pumpkins, first you have to get the pumpkins ready. In my case, this involved making some really quite nice pumpkin soup. It's not something you normally have to do as part of wildlife photography, but in this case I thought it was worth it. The pumpkins were then taken out and put where I was originally planning to take the photos. So I set them up in a nice position, fill them full of hazelnuts, and prepared to go and sit in that ditch you can just about see, ready to take photos of the wonderful red squirrels. Okay, so I'm sat in a local woodland which is very popular with dog walkers, and it's the 5th of November, and shockingly I might have to go to the car and grab a midge net. The midges are terrible, but I'm here trying to do some fairly cliched, fairly twee photography. Behind me, behind you, I've set up 2 pumpkins which are full of hazelnuts, and the position I'm at the edge of a woodland, which is a popular place for dog walkers. It's also a place where a lot of squirrels live. But there's also a little road with some houses, and in those houses, in the gardens, they put bird feeders. So the squirrels move between the bird feeders and the houses. I do not believe these midges. So the plan is that in between the 2 places, I'm set up and I try to photograph the squirrels as they go through and find this store of wonderful hazelnuts. Now, I've been baiting the area with hazelnuts for a few days, so hopefully the squirrels will be used to it, and they're fairly tame, they're used to people. So hopefully we'll get some nice images, but all I can do now is sit here and offer my blood to the midge gods. So this is the setup. I have a standard size pumpkin. I have a little pumpkin which hopefully will make the squirrels look huge. And I've also got my other camera sat there with a remote control release to hopefully get some wide angle shots. All I need now is some squirrels. Although in terms of setup, the 5D Mark II, the classic 5D Mark II, is attached to a 24-105 lens set at 24mm. I'm at ISO 2000 on that one, and f4 pre-focused manual focus, and hopefully if the squirrel's in the right place I'll get something a bit special. This one is set to ISO 800, probably will go higher, and I'm got it set at the moment at f3.5, which is giving me enough speed just about. The big problem with this sight is the amount of light that it gets. It just doesn't get very much light, so you really do need it to be a bit brighter than it is now. I could be set up higher. Ooh, I've got a squirrel here now. So the squirrel has just buried the nut exactly there. Oh, the squirrel's behind. Right, so I've reset things up again, and yeah, the GoPro's now over there, sort of filming the squirrels and filming me. The 5D Mark II is now attached to the 104, and then it's been used to do this filming. And actually, I've got to say, it's quite a nice shot that's coming out here. And the pumpkins are now even more full of lovely hazelnuts. Also, I've got to say, wonderful thing is the light has suddenly improved. We're getting a bit more light coming through. Wish I had a polarizer on this big lens, but I've been able to get the ISO where I like it. I've been able to open up the aperture a little bit so that there's more chance of everything being in focus. The squirrels running around like crazy. The midges have died down a bit, but there's still plenty of midges. I mean, this isn't supposed to be mid-season. I'm not happy with this. Jays have gone. They were fun. Oh, if I could get a picture of a jay on top of a pumpkin, I would be very, very happy. Yeah, I think I'll be back here a few more times with those, so I'll keep you posted. I was really quite happy with the images on the first photo shoot. I got exactly what I was looking for in terms of a squirrel sat on top of a pumpkin. But I decided to have another go and see if I do something different. I'm glad to say, this time the preparation took a lot less time. My family are now telling me that they are completely sick of pumpkin soup and would quite like to not have it again for at least another 3 or 4 days. So I headed back out to the wood, and it started out looking really good, but soon the cloud broke and I ended up with this massively contrasty scene. The nightmare in a wood is when you've got bright, strong sunlight, because you end up with patches of absolute shadow and patches of really strong, bright colours. Also, to make matters worse, it had been raining. So the wet leaves kind of even reflected more light back at me. But I'm a strong believer that some of the best images come from the very, very worst conditions. So I decided to experiment and see if I could get anything. As you can see from this, the squirrels were there in abundance and were making the most of the sunshine. So what I decided to do is to go for some sort of high key images and see whether I could get like a bright background to them. So I put the pumpkins in the shadow of one of the trees and I played around a while, and eventually I decided to set up everything manually. So I set the aperture and the shutter speed based around roughly what it would be required for the shadow. with the idea of getting some sort of a high key background behind. And I played about with this. I checked the histogram regularly, and yeah, I was completely blowing out the background. It was, you know, flashing histogram. But I stuck with it just in case. And yeah, I managed to get some images that I started to like. Long range shot, this is one of the ones that I thought came out well. It's a simple squirrel backlit under an autumn canopy. I had to play about with some other sort of shots of the sort of high key, but I was losing the tails, it was looking a bit silly, but the squirrels again were playing, and that background, something told me I should persevere, and I ended up getting this shot. And I brought it into Lightroom, and this is the result. Now I call this video Red Squirrel Fireworks, and this is the reason why. This is the image that came in Lightroom. So this is the image as shot. Now I did the exposure based on making sure that this wasn't overexposed and it also wasn't too dark. So I wanted the main body of the squirrel to be correctly exposed and the background just to lose it. I wasn't that concerned. I thought I might get some sort of an interesting background there, and yeah, I did. Again, the most important thing was to make sure that I got detail on the squirrel. I didn't want to worry too much about the background. I was trying to be a bit creative. I thought I might get some sort of a high key image, but that water on the leaves combined with the backlighting, yeah, I liked it. And again, remember, the detail is still here. I'm not doing anything really stupid with Lightroom. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, believe it or not, I'm actually going to make this slightly warmer. I mean, this is an autumn image. It's supposed to be autumn. So I'm going to raise up the temperature to about there. And I might change that later. It does look a bit sickly. Now, in terms of the exposure, I don't want to go too dark, but I think I'm going to darken it overall. So I'm going to take it down, yeah, about there. Shadows, I want to get as much detail here as I can do, so I want to keep that. So shadows, I'm going to increase a fair amount to get this detail on the squirrel. Then whites, I like this at the background, but I don't want it to be just too over the top. So I'm going to use that. I'm actually going to use whites to control that. I've experimented using exposure and I didn't like it. So I'm really going to pull the whites down quite a long way. Conversely, I'm actually going to increase the blacks. So up to there. And after that, saturation, I don't think it needs to be anything more than that. That's just iron brew. So I'm going to bring that back. Maybe a little bit. I don't think I need anything more. There's no reason to touch these. The one thing I will do though is go to the adjustment brush. And I've got this set up. Nah, that's too much. Sharpness. The main thing I'm going to do with the adjustment brush is increase the sharpness. I might... shall I? I can always change it. Brush is quite small. I'm just going to... slightly paint around this part of the squirrel. if I want to, I can see what it would be like to increase some of the things. So sharpness there, it's not really doing a great deal. Is yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. And then there's a big area up here that's a bit too bright. So I'm going to just have a little play. There's a couple of options for this to finish it off. I can close it in a bit. That doesn't look so bad there. I know there's all sorts of things I can do to remove it. The other thing that I may decide to do with this image is I want a project which involves some square photos. So, ooh. Yeah, I'm going to leave that at that. So this is, yeah, Red Squirrel Fireworks. Could it be improved? Yeah, I could go back and make sure it doesn't have a hazelnut in its mouth. But I do like that. I do like the way that's turned out. Considering this was awful conditions, I do like the way that's turned out. If you liked it and you found this interesting, please like and subscribe. Also, I'll plug them again. I have a range of greetings cards, and one of them may well end up having this on in the future. So if you get the chance, if you're interested in any of my work, I'm also going to be doing some limited edition prints. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this Halloween autumn squirrel extravaganza. Thank you for watching.